Good afternoon, beautiful people, and welcome to the Little Things We Can Do podcast. On this podcast, I will be talking about the little things that parents can do to help their children navigate this beautiful and crazy world. And my mantra for today is mind the business that pay you. Pay attention to how you make your money. So, mind the business that pay you. This evening, we'll be talking about organization, dysregulation, and being on time. So we're going to take them separate because they're three different things, but they all link. They all should link up at the end. So let's go with organization. And I'm going to give you two backstories of why being organized can help a parent get out of the house on time in a calmly manner and getting their young superstar or superstars to school. And this goes for mothers and fathers because a lot of times, sometimes we think it's just one parent duty to do these things. It's everybody. And it works best when the child realizes that mommy and daddy is on the same page. It really makes a difference because then everybody is doing the same thing. Okay, let's go with being organized. Many years ago, I was working in a kitchen and I was the rookie staff. And as I entered the kitchen, the matron of the kitchen, she said to me, she wanted me to do the pantry and to organize the cupboard. And I was a little bit frustrated. Why was I given this job? But one of the things she said to me, she says, in my kitchen, everything has a home. And I didn't understand what that means. She said, my butter lives here on this shelf. The tin beans, the big tin beans, they live here. So everything in that pantry has a home. She explained that to me. When you go to the part where we do the foods and the potatoes and stuff, she said, this live here. Everything has a home. And it took me a while to understand what she meant. And as I get older, I've left that work many years now, and I realize if you put the same thing at the same place, especially if it's a good place, you will always know where it is. That's story one. Story two, I've got a friend, she's got three kids, two boys and a girl. And my friend, she goes out and she buys two pairs of school shoes each. They've got two coats each. They've got two school bags each. They've got multiple jumpers because when the children get home, most of the time they don't know where they put their things. And I'm going to say this, I've got two girls and I have never ever had a situation where someone can't find their school shoes or church shoes or sneakers. I've had house shoes gone missing because it's under the sofa or under the bed, but not the school shoes, never the sneakers, never the church shoes, because they have a home. They live a certain place. So my friend, I've seen her kids leave the house with two different foot of school shoes. They're black, but they're not the pair because they couldn't find their shoe. And I remember one day I went to the house and I got the kids three bags, a blue, a green, and a red. And I said to them, when you come home in the evening, put your hat, your gloves, your scarf, and stuff in each of the bag. Put your shoes together. And I had a good conversation with them. And it got to a point where I said to them, your mom will pay you if you can keep this up. And she said to me, this really work because they are putting their things at that home. They know where everything lives. So being organized with your children, get them involved will help you to leave the house on time. There's another little thing I did. Someone taught my daughter. I dropped her to the childminder once, and the childminder she put the gloves in the hat and the hat in one of the sleeve, and then she put the scarf in the other sleeve. And up until this day, that's the way I store my stuff. I'll put my hat in the sleeve of my coat. When I pick up my coat, most of the time my hat is there, especially in the winter months. So I don't need to go looking for things. One of the reasons why most parents and children have frustration in the morning when they're leaving out is because they can't find things. I can't find my shoes. I can't find my socks. I can't find my gloves. I can't find my bag. And it takes a toll. So what should take you 45 minutes to go through the door can take an hour. So by the time you leave, you're shouting at the kids, you're frustrated, you're stressed out, the kids frustrated, the kids stressed out, they come into school late, they come into school dysregulated, and it spoils their morning. So if we strip it back, so when your kid come home in the evening, they need to know where their school shoes live. This is where I put my school shoes. This is where I hang my coat. This is where I put my bag. If they're a little bit older and they're wearing the same uniform tomorrow, they can organize them. So they'll put them out, the shirt, the trousers, the cardigan, put them on a hanger, hang them up for the next day. If they're changing shirt or changing uniform, then I think if they're old enough, they could start pressing them that evening. If they're younger, then I think mom or dad should be pressing it. Then I would say the night before, so it's easy to get out the house. So we've done your shoes, we've done your uniform. Now you have choices, and it depends on the age of the child. The child is young, I would say primary school and young primary school. I would say give your child a wash at night, especially in the winter months. Because in the morning when it's a little bit nippy, it's harder to get your child in the shower. So I'd say give your child a shower in the night. For the older kids, secondary school, they need to have their shower in the morning because they're sweating, their hormones are different, so they need to have a shower in the morning. So we've done the shoes, we've done the clothes, we've done having a shower. Packing the pack lunch. For children who carry pack lunch, they can help to pack those pack lunch from the evening before. Let them help you. They can put the crisp in. They can put biscuits that they're carrying. I think like the juice and the yogurt and stuff from the fridge, that can be done first thing in the morning. Or at night, I've seen mothers who make the sandwiches at night, put them in the fridge. So in the morning, so matter put them in the lunch box and out they go. You might be wondering, why am I talking about organization? There's a term called dysregulation, and I'm gonna give you the scenario. You're shouting at the kids to come out the house. Get your coat, get your bag, and everybody's shouting. They get in the car. Mom is running late for work. Mom is stressed. She got things going on in her head, and the kids are fussing because they couldn't find the right shoes. They couldn't find the bag. So there's a little bit of shouting match going on. Now, when you're at home, if your little boy, let's say it's Johnny, when Johnny gets upset, it takes Johnny 2 hours to get back to his happy self, to his regulated self. I'm gonna tell you something. When you have a shouting when you have a shouting match with Johnny in the car on his way to school, he will come into school being dysregulated. He's gonna come in angry, and that can take a teaching assistant or support staff 2 hours to get that child regulated enough to go back to class. I've had that happen to me. The boy came into school, he and his mother had a big fussing about whatever, I don't know. And it took me from 10 minutes to 9 till 11 o'clock to get that boy in a state of mind to do his work. We play ball, we play board games, we did jigsaw puzzles, we did all sorts of stuff within that 2 hours so he could start smiling, happy, and was ready for learning. So you might think, oh, me and my kid just having a little bit of argument because we couldn't get out the house and you'll be all right at school. Sometimes they are not. If they leave the car angry and upset with you, or the walk from home to school, they were fussing and arguing with you. When they get to school, they are in that same mindset, that same frame of mind, and they come into school dysregulated. Now, some days you can't what's the word? Some days it happens because you're probably frustrated, you're going through your job, you're stressed out, and you might have a shouting match. But you have parents who leave their house every morning fussing. And bear in mind, as a parent, mothers and fathers, carers, guardians, we are on a lifetime catwalk for these children. So whatever we program into them when they are 7 and 8 and 5, that's what they will do when they get older. So if you try your best to organize things from the night before, ask your children to help you to organize things when they're very young. A child at 3 can start putting everybody's shoes together. That could be their little duty, putting the shoes together, because they need to learn. The earlier they learn how to organize their things, the easier it will be for you to leave the house in a calm, collective manner. Because when you drop your child off to school and you kiss a child and you say bye, that child comes in and says, "Good morning." They're very grumpy because whatever happened on the way to school is still playing on the mind. They can be aggressive, they can make threats to their friends, they can have a shouting match with teacher, they can start hitting things because they couldn't tell you how they were feeling, they couldn't verbalize their feeling. So they come into school and sometime they verbalize how they're feeling and they act it out physically on other people because it's all built up in them. And as adults, we can get angry and we can regulate our feelings and emotion quite quickly. You know, it can be, it depends on the depth of the frustration. I can get back to my regular self in 15 minutes. A child who's just coming into say 8, 9, even 7, they sometimes they do not know how to regulate their emotions. So when you drop them off of school all angry and shouting and fussing, it has an impact on the school, on the class, and on your child. So being organized at home and leaving home in a calm, collective way will help your child enter his work day in a better frame of mind. Now we're going to move on to being punctual, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Being on time. Have you ever entered a meeting and you are late and it takes you a little while to catch the rhythm of the room? Because everybody got there before, they probably crack a few jokes and, find the right seat before the meeting starts. So they are in the room when the room settles. So when you walk in late, you're a bit flustered. It's happened to me. You walk into a meeting late and you're trying to find your space. First, you got to walk past everybody to find your seat. Then you got to get your paperwork sorted. You got to get yourself into the meeting because you weren't there when the meeting starts. You find yourself a little bit off centered, and you're an adult. So just imagine a child coming into school 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late. That child struggled to find the rhythm of the classroom. I've seen children come in 10 minutes and says, "Oh, it's okay, you're only 10 minutes late." And the child is crying. I says, "Why are you crying? We okay, why are you crying?" He says, "Oh, everybody's looking at me." Because that child is it's like they're doing the walk of shame. They're gonna walk into that class and all the friends looking at them. Sometimes you get, "Yay, so and so is here." Might get a little fist pump, but that child feels he or she doesn't feel themselves because they are late. So that's how the child feel. Second, we got to remember as parents, the little things that we do now, how we organize, how we leave the home, the time we get the child to school, we are teaching them that's how they should behave in the future. Because if you're a parent that bring your child to school late every day and they come to school for 10 minutes every day or 15 minutes every day late, that means for the week, 5 days per week, they're missing 50 minutes of learning. For the month, that's what 200 minutes of learning that they're missing. It does add up. And you're teaching your child that it's okay to get to work or to the business appointment late. That's what we're teaching them if you're constantly getting to school late. Now, what are some of the reasons why you could get to school late? Traffic, the rain, snow, being disorganized. If parents have issues, probably mental health issues, you have a bereavement, they're going through divorces, breakup, then the parent themselves could be a bit off-centered. So that child, it would impact on how the child dress, how the child get to school, the time they get to school, it will. But then that hopefully that is only a phase. And as quickly as possible, get that child back into a rhythm of being organized, being regulated, and getting to school on time. Now, one of the main reasons why I'm having this conversation, it's about the dysregulation. And dysregulation is the inability to get back to to get your emotion back to its regular volume. I'll give an example. Let's say our regular place is at 4. And if you get angry or upset, you're at number 10. At number 10, most people only see blood. They're fussing, they're angry, they're gonna push somebody, they're gonna break something, they want to fight, they want to argue back because they're angry. That's what we call dysregulation. So we need to keep our child, I'm gonna say 5, 4.5. Yeah, that's where we need to keep our child emotion. So if every day you and your boy or girl are fussing in the car before you get to school, it's a big shouting match, shut up, blah blah blah. When they come to school, they are gonna be off-centered. You have children, so to them, oh, write your date on the right page, the child start to cry. And when you get to the bottom of that, why are you crying? Oh, me and my mom had an argument in the car, me and dad had this. Because as parents, we've had our say. You tell the child how you feel. Now go to school and be your best self. But that child can't go to school and be their best self because their emotion is all over the place. One, there wasn't enough time for you and them to discuss how they're feeling. Two, they can't regulate themselves naturally. They need to play, they need to have a conversation, they need to have a little joke about, and then they can get back to the regular self. So I'm going to say to parents, as much as you can, from your child is very young, 4 or 5 years old, teach your children how to get organized. Let them help you to organize their things from the night before. So come in the morning, it's easier for everybody to leave the house. And if we leave early, hopefully traffic and everything flows nicely, you get your child to school on time. If your child is in school on time, then they can start their day with their peers, emotionally ready to learn, mentally ready to learn, physically there in the building to learn. So we need to think about all these things. And bear in mind, as parents, we are busy. We got work, we got bills, we got the stress of life, we got relationships. Probably some of us are studying. We got so much going on. If you teach your children when they're very young to help you to organize things, then the stress is not on you. One of my podcasts, I'm going to talk about how parents or children can help their parents tidy the house and organize the house. Because a lot of parents are working overtime at work, at home, and they have children who can help them to get things ready. If you teach your child to organize their things, you're teaching them to organize your house. That's a training. You're teaching them to organize their own house when they get older because you've trained them. You have children going off to university and cannot use the washing machine. And I'm saying, if you bring your little boy or girl downstairs with you, say 7, 8, 9, 10-year old, and teach them, you do this, about 5 times, 6 times. The seventh time, they can get the machine up and running in a sensible way because you've taught them, you've had the conversation of the dangers, you've had the conversation of what button, everything. They can use the machine. Sorting the clothes out to go in the machine, a child can do that. The first time they'll do it, they make a mistake. That's fine. You go it over. The second time they'll make mistake. Eventually, within a month or so, they will know how to sort the clothing, the black from the white from the in between. And that's a teaching moment. So if you're not teaching them to help you to organize their things, that means you always you have burnout. The parents are becoming ill because they're working so hard at work and then working so hard at home. And you have children who can help you. Bear in mind, we are trying to teach them little things, small things that will build up for later, for their future. You have 19-year-old going off to university and can't use the washing machine. There's a story with the girl, she poured the milk in the kettle to boil it. Who pour milk in a kettle? These are things that we teach our children when from they're very young. A child at 9-year old, hey, they can come into the kitchen and help you cut up tomatoes for dinner. They can help if you get the onion ready, they can help you cut the onions. You can't have your child sitting there watching TV and playing games while you're laboring in the kitchen and they're going to eat that same food. They need to help you. And if they help you, I promise you they will appreciate it more. If they help you to organize their things, they'll remember where it is. Rather than they gone to bed and you're doing all the organization, and in the morning you got to tell everybody where their things are because you did it on your own. Let them help you. It's their stuff. You're teaching them today for their future tomorrow. I feel like I've rant on about organization. And the reason why, because everything links up. Being organized, you leave the home calm, collective. Then the child come into school in a regulated manner. And if all things go well, they will be on time. And if your child is in school on time, ready to learn mentally, physically, and emotionally, they will have a beautiful day. And that's what we are trying to achieve, for your child to have a beautiful day. Now, before I close, a friend of mine said I should close with a prayer each time. And he says a simple prayer. So I'm going to pray that our children are blessed and that they are loved. We love them, and that the Lord watch over them today, tomorrow, and for all times. This is where I'm going to end my podcast. I'm going to say thanks for listening, and I hope you find value from what I've just said. This is Nisha signing off. Goodbye. Thank you.